What's going on, everybody? Back for round two. I'm here in Morocco, and I wanted to come with another topic that I didn't address in the previous two videos. Well, one was in Seychelles and one was here in Morocco. But I want to talk about the topic of gaslighting experiences, and then we'll see where it goes from there. I'll go and pick up something and run with it several different directions. But what I want to encourage people to do is to stop allowing people to gaslight your experiences. And so basically what gaslighting is where somebody comes in and they try to change what you have seen. So basically to cause you to think that what you saw isn't what you saw. So you might have seen something happen. They'll come and say, no, that's not what you saw. Or to dismiss it, or to try to make you feel crazy for believing in it or seeing what you saw. And so what I encountered when I first started my whole journey in Africa was just that very thing. I had a lot of people, so-called African Americans, say, you better get back on your tribe here in America, leave them Africans alone. They don't like us. They're not my brothers. They're not this, that, and the other. We're indigenous and we're not from there. I mean, I heard everything. I started to wonder, like, is there levels of crack that people were smoking out here? Did they change the formula? Did they concentrate a little bit more? I didn't know what was going on. So what I had to learn how to start doing was to really stand firm and push back. A lot of times people are afraid to push back because there are people out here who are very aggressive, and they'll come at you, you gotta right back at them, and not allow them to push you down into a hole, because I know what I saw. I know what I've seen in my life. And so if I allow someone to come in and change that gives them a level of authority in my mind and in my life that they don't need to have. And I remember a point in time in my life where I allowed myself to be in a position to be gaslighted. So I would see something and I would allow someone to convince me that what I saw wasn't what I saw. And unfortunately, this was in a religious setting. And the word faith and all that kind of stuff was put into it. And so I was very naive and immature. But that experience taught me how to stand on my own 2 feet and taught me to never allow myself to be gaslighted under any circumstances, and to recognize when it's happening. And I think that what I would encourage you to do is to study what gaslighting is. But when you can recognize when gaslighting is happening, that's one, when you know who you're dealing with. And then two, that's when you know when to push back. So when people tell me, I remember this one lady when I first started the Africa journey, she just, at every turn, she wanted me to dismiss what I saw in Africa and the beauty of Africa and the beauty of the people. And she was like, well, you're wasting your time over there. You need to get back here and basically on this American plantation and help us solve our problems over here. Now, little did she realize about me that I dedicated the past 30 years of my life to helping our problems on the American plantation. And so it'd be one thing if I had not done that, and if I didn't have the receipts and the track record to prove it. And I won't go into the list of receipts, but just if you want to see them, I can show them to you, as far as what all I've done on the American plantation. But to really understand it, and this was exposing her level of ignorance, the fact that understanding the two stories are really no different. And by me coming to Africa, what it did was it prompted me to learn more about my American history that I didn't know existed. There were things that I learned in Africa that prompted me to go back and study more in Savannah and Charleston and other parts of America. So had I allowed her to gaslight me and to basically say, or to have a stronger personality and to push me back down, then what would have happened in that case? I would have been, okay, I better not go on over there no more to Africa, because, I don't feel like hearing no criticism. Well, let me tell you something. If you're going to be moving forward with anything, you're going to get criticism. You get criticism from your family. You get criticism from strangers. And if you don't learn how to have a tough skin when it comes to that, then they're just going to I can't say that. Basically, they're going to crush you, and you're going to find yourself being silenced by people who really have no power. Let them talk. Let them say whatever they need to say. And so what I encourage people to do is to go learn, study for yourself, and then allow the peanut gallery to talk. Let them people do what they got to do. And then just your actions will speak louder than anything else. I'll say this much. Many of the people in my life, and this is just outside of the whole Africa component, but in all of my years of living, when I would go against the grain, there would always be criticism. You shouldn't do that. But then those same people would come back to me years later. Man, I'm sorry. You were right. Man, you know what, can we partner on something? Nah, Jack, no, that window was closed. But I appreciate, the acknowledgement of the foolery. But no, that's a done deal at this point. So what I'm saying is just stay the course. Don't even worry about that nonsense. And then, then also be sensitive to when people may be telling you something that might be right. So don't be to the point where you're so headstrong that you're unteachable, because that's another thing that I see. A lot of times people get to the point where they're unteachable. I may be very strong in my delivery, but at the same time, I'm willing to hear what someone is saying, because the main thing, what's most important to me, is being the truth versus being right. And so if I discover, oh man, I was wrong in this particular area, then I have no problem correcting it. Now, some people hate to do that because it impacts their ego. And once their ego is impacted, they don't want to acknowledge it. So I watch people go down a hole where they just keep going and going and going to the point where nobody really gets to the bottom of anything. So I see that happen too. My encouragement to you, don't allow yourself to be gaslighted. That is what I believe is probably the detriment of so many people. They allow themselves to be gaslighted, but it doesn't have to be you. I'm speaking to the individual, not to the masses. So anyway, be sure to like, subscribe, share. Maximum Impact with Jay Cameron. Get that gaslighting out of your system and stand up and be just as strong and vocal as they are. That's the deal. Till next time.